What is for? Okay. Joe, you ready? Yes, sir. Okay. Call to order the Disability Advisories Committee agenda for Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. Call to order. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do roll call.
Here. Mr. Iovino.
Present.
Ms. Virant. Ms. Brent. Ms. Sartain Anderson and Ms. Ring have asked for an excused absence.
Okay. Agenda modifications? I don't think we have any.
No, sir.
Approval of minutes for October 21st, 2015.
So move.
Okay, motion approved. Any public input? Alrighty. New business, requesting ideas for the handicap playground at Friendship Park. We have a letter from Andrea Ring, and I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the bullet points that she has in here. She says the community center, she's commenting on the cement walk and porch. She said that they made the walk from the parking lot to the community center very easy. There's a step down from the parking lot located behind the community center to the walkway. She comments that it's steep and hard to navigate. The access ramp is not marked, and a car was parked in front of it, preventing her from using the ramp. She wants to know if the city can mark the ramp so it'll always be accessible. I don't see why that wouldn't be an issue. We could go ahead and take care of that. She made comment that the outside tables were hot and she wasn't able to use them, so I guess she's addressing an issue there with whether or not there needs to be some type of covering or a planted shade area over the table and the bench. The center, she comments, was wheelchair and emergency equipment accessible with ease. Pamphlets and books were well displayed and easy reach, and she also commented that the bathroom was clean as well. In her comments to the accessible playground, she says that she believes the current playground located at Friendship Park is not used by anyone because it is located in the middle of a field in hot sun, with her citing that it's recommended by a dermatologist that too much sun is not recommended. The equipment is too hot to handle, there isn't close parking, and the sidewalk connecting the playground to there's no sidewalk connecting the playground to a hard, flat surface area. She comments any new playground will need sidewalks that accommodate wheelchairs from the parking lot to the playground, shaded equipment. She also recommends that to put the accessible playground in a park that already has a playground, commenting that the playground at Barber Street Park is already there, and that putting an accessible playground in this area would give all the children in the family a place to play. And she also comments that there's ample parking at the Barber Street Park, which I concur. There's a lot of parking there. And she is also looking for a new accessible bathroom. She would rather have an accessible bathroom built at Barber Street Park before an accessible playground is built anywhere. I don't disagree with her on any of those points. They all sound like they're valid reasons, and if we, in regards to the playground, if we are looking to build another one, we might as well put it where it can be used and accessible, where there's already a playground in place, and especially with the parking, but I'm sure we can visit that with you, Mr. Griffin, or the city engineering, correct?
One of the reasons that we wanted to have this meeting, well, first of all, I'd like to, my name is Joe Griffin, I'm the city manager, also the Disabilities Committee liaison, and I'd like to introduce Margarita Hernandez, and she is in our Community Development Department. Also, Frank Watanabe, our city engineer, is sitting over to my left. One of the reasons we wanted to have this meeting, this is a result of a discussion that was at the Parks and Rec Committee last month, I believe it was. There is now on our capital improvement project a project to build a police evidence building in back of the police department, in the parking lot in the back of the police department, and that would infringe upon the now disability or the handicap playground that's out there now. So we made a proposal to the Parks and Rec Board, which they concurred with, to remove that playground. And actually, the City Council approved a resolution whereby the United Church of Sebastian, I believe it is, United Church of Sebastian, is being given that playground as surplus equipment. They're going to be removing that and putting it up over by their church. So the discussion was with Parks and Rec. Number one, do we need another disabled playground equipment? And question number two, where do we put it? So after a lot of discussion, yes, they would like to see another disabled playground, handicap playground equipment put somewhere in the city. And number two, at staff's request, we thought over by Friendship Park, right in back of where it is right now in a shaded area, frankly, where what's the name of that? Bocce ball
Right.
courts are, which have never been used. We will try to make that area nice and put up the playground equipment. And then that will make room, obviously, for the new police evidence building. And so that's really the reason that we wanted to have the Disability Advisory Committee meet today. Ms. Hernandez has a couple possibilities. One of the discussion points with the Parks and Rec Board and also with staff has been there's kind of a variance in what kind of playground equipment is available for disabled children who might be, say, age 5 and below or age 6 and above. So we were thinking about two pieces of equipment. And if you think in your mind's eye over there, just to the north of the Boys and Girls Club, there is some playground equipment there. The disabled playground equipment would be to the east of that, over, as I say, where the bocce ball courts are, and right kind of to the north of some disabled parking. So we think it would fit, wouldn't be out in the sun, things like that. So Ms. Hernandez would like to show you all some examples of what we're thinking of. Excuse me.
Hi, so pleasure to meet you, first of all. I basically pulled 5 examples, not knowing really what would be suitable, especially when it comes to inclusive playgrounds. And I also didn't know as far as pricing. So these vary in price, they vary in size. It's just something that, was labeled as inclusive playgrounds, not necessarily something that you might like, but of course, if you give us more direction, I can definitely look for others. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Or should I?
There's a little bit of a glare, but for the majority of it, looks like 3 separate little, there you go.
Maybe if I.
You see that all right?
Yeah.
It's my first time using this, sorry.
That's
All
okay.
right.
I think we can
and the glare doesn't help.
So is there a back access walkway, it looks like all the way towards the back of the park and then to that little pavilion as well? Is that what that is? It's hard to see if it goes all the way around from the glare, but it looks like it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
This playground, for example, is for ages between 5 and 12. The cost of it is about $65K, but it is an inclusive playground.
Is that specifically designed for disabled children? Okay.
And that's actually one of the questions we had, right?
Right.
Is, okay, what makes it necessarily an inclusive playground?
Right.
What are the specifications?
Right.
We don't know. The Parks and Rec Committee didn't know either, and that's why we thought, okay, well, maybe somebody from your committee could help us.
Right.
This is example number 2, also labeled or classified if you. Is that better? Can you see the whole thing?
Still a big. Yeah, that's going to be an issue.
And actually, this one is the schematic of that one that I just showed you. So that's it. That's the schematic. And that one is for ages between 5 and 12, and it runs, you know, I guess depending on what we order, between 30 and 59K. This is also excluding the surface, which I'm assuming is also a necessity. This is example 3. Can you see it okay? This is a picture of it. I'm going to show you the schematic. Same age group, 5 to 12, and same price, I guess, depending on if we order the whole thing or pieces of it, between 30 and 59K. And then these are very basic, just because I really wasn't sure as far as specifications or price. But believe it or not, they're also considered or labeled as inclusive playgrounds.
Mr. Griffin, do you know, and I'm not aware of it, that's why I'm asking this, do you know, I'm imagining that there's a limit as far as expenditure for the park? Like they're going to be allowed to spend between X amount of dollars and Y dollars, or that hasn't been determined yet?
Well, it's public record that the Rec Impact Fund is, there's cash in there right now
Okay,
to spend. So I don't want to be frivolous about this.
I understand.
We don't do anything, you know, other people's money, so we're going to spend it. We don't want
Right.
to do that. But since the instructions are, and this will have to go through council, obviously, but I think it's staff's recommendation that, and we're following the recommendation of Parks and Rec Committee, that they would like to see a replacement for the disabled playground. It's staff recommendation that you would recommend this also. And then I would think that you would leave it up to staff to really investigate what we can spend, and if we need to do this in sections or how we want to do this. I mean, I would think that y'all would trust us to do the right thing and spend money wisely and make a good choice. We're going to be, and one of the reasons I asked Frank to come here, the city engineer, is that that area over there, I'm going to have to work with him very closely to make sure things fit and there's proper spacing and things like that. So this isn't going to be something that's going to happen overnight either. It's going to take a while. I was just talking to Frank about when the new police evidence building, what's the timetable on that? We could have that built by about late June, July, somewhere in there. If you notice over at the disabled playground right now, the United Church of Sebastian has put actually, we put an orange barrier around there. They're going to start disassembling things. So this is going to happen. I'm just looking for some sort of recommendation from your committee to have staff proceed with investigation, and we will take whatever choices we make back to the Parks and Rec Committee, and because the purchase is going to come from that committee, and then I'll in turn take that up to the City Council for their approval. Hope that makes sense. Kind of long-winded, I'm sorry.
The reason why I was asking is because obviously accessibility is going to be an issue. The surface that it's actually made out of is going to be an issue, because if you have a child in a wheelchair or crutches or some type of device isn't going to be able to traverse across recycled rubber or rock or what have you. It's going to need to be a solid, smooth surface and things like that. So do you want to maybe we review these plans, and then when were you looking for a recommendation from us today, or?
Well, I think it would be appropriate if we had a recommendation that you support what Parks and Rec is looking forward, that there should be another disabled playground. That's what we're recommending, I believe.
Right.
And that we can go forward and make the proper selection and present it to the Parks and Rec Board, because it's going to be the Recreation Impact Fund that's going to be paying for that. So assuming council approves it, of course.
I don't know if this is going forward with it. Are you okay moving forward with it? Are you okay moving forward with it? So I think that we're okay with moving forward with the idea of creating a secondary or building a new park, provided that it has the appropriate things, as in her designs show the appropriate accessibility and surface to be able to get in and out of the park.
And one of the things that would be necessary would be the surface. We understand that. The numbers that Ms. Hernandez quoted to you does not include that surface. So we'll be cognizant of that. And
I think we understand those numbers are just a starting point,
yes, sir.
and they're no way inclusive of everything, so.
Right, that's correct.
Well, I mean, we can take a motion and vote on it right now as far as approval goes,
Very good.
if you're
Thank
okay with that.
Well, I move that we extend our support for this project.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Do we need a roll call vote, or?
I think that'd be appropriate.
I'm for it.
Mr. Goodfellow
Yes.
and Ms. Barant. Motion carries.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the only other thing I'd like to present to the committee is that I made a staff decision as far as future Disability Advisory Committee meetings. I would like that Mr. Watanabe, our city engineer, is going to be the...
Pardon me,
Excuse us one moment,
Okay.
please.
I'd like to, I've made the decision that Mr. Watanabe, our city engineer, is going to be the liaison for the Disability Advisory Committee, along with another member of staff would be Wayne Esseltime, our building official. And the reason I want to do that is that they are more in tune with the ADA law, frankly, than I am or Ms. Hernandez. And it's just more appropriate that they, for example, I mean, some of the things that Ms. Ring brought forward in her letter, frankly, I'm kind of at a loss for that. Wayne, our building official, and certainly Frank, they know the law. They know about the steps and the grade and things like that. So it's more appropriate that they handle the liaison and staff duties for the committee.
Okay, understood. Any other new business, or we move forward with that? Okay. Staff matters? You have anything?
I was just wondering why we still don't have a handicap accessible door to the building.
The handicap accessible door to this building.
You only need one really, come in through City Hall and then come into here from there.
We have been looking into that, and that's on our list, so Frank will be addressing that, actually.
Thank you.
Member matters? I don't have anything, do you?
I don't have anything more.
Okay.
That's it.
And items for the next agenda? I think we'll do a, do you have anything? Items for the next agenda?
For the next agenda.
No?
Probably just to discuss the playground further when they
If
come back.
maybe
with
we can
more
get a,
information.
an update on the playground and where the progress is with that, as far as what the Parks and Recreation and if appropriate, the council's vote on whether or not we're moving forward with that. And maybe we can also address the handicap door issue to City Hall as well.
And I would offer, from Andrea's letter, I would offer, look into new accessible bathroom for the Barber Street Park. We can begin the ball rolling on that.
Okay, well, if we don't have anything else, we're at adjournment.